Hi everyone, welcome. We are about to get started. Today we are there's an event for girls going on downstairs in the shul, so we are having the shiur up here in my house in the dining room. So everybody, welcome to the dining room. We used to do a lot up here in the old days before the shul was expanded. We used to have kiddushes up here and everything, but now we have to have shiur this week up here. But Mitzvah Shem, it'll be nice. So we are. The tea is right here, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
If you want. We are. Okay, so I made an announcement last week that we're going to be starting a new derech in Likutei Moharan, and we're going to try to learn in a very, very deep way that we can really acquire the Torah's in Likutei Moharan. And we are going to do that, but we're not starting quite yet. Because I have to learn with a very special person who has this derech and this system built in, just for a little bit, just to get things moving, and to develop how it's gonna work out in our group, because it won't work out the same for everybody. Welcome, Nancy. So we're gonna keep going with Torah Chaf Zayin 27 that we started last two weeks ago, and at some point we will when we finish it, we'll switch over to this other way, and we'll figure out how it's going to work for our whole chabura. There's one of the aspects of this new way is that a person should be, when we're learning a Torah, we need to live it. And that means that we learn it even a little bit every day. And we say, the tefillahs, we say the prayers that Reb Nosson wrote that are associated with the Torah. We think about it, we discuss it, we talk to each other about it, on an almost daily basis. It's a really amazing opportunity. But it's probably not going to be for everybody in our group, right? So we have to make it so that still someone can just come and have a good shiur, and we can learn good stuff together. So we're on page 148 in this book, by the way. So that's where we're at with regards to the new derech. So for now, we're continuing in the way that we were for another probably couple weeks or so. That is the first announcement, and I think it'll be the only announcement. Okay, so we are holding now on Ois Daled, the fourth paragraph, fourth place of Likutei Moharan, Chelik Aleph, Torah Chaf Zayin, lesson 27. It's on page 148 in the BRI English volume 4. Okay, so what we said now up to this point is that that there's a connection between shalom, peace, and emes, truth. Anything good? Just go ask my wife, she's in there. Yeah. A connection between shalom and emes, peace and truth. And we talked about and that avodah zarah is what pulls us out from there, from that place of peace and truth. And we discussed that avodah zarah is all these things like money and like arrogance and anger and physical desires that they cause us to think in a way and to do things in a way that is not truthful. Why? Because we have to cover things up because of arrogance, right? We get onto a different track of thinking because of anger. We because of our physical desires, we're pulled in a certain way as opposed to just being our true selves. There's a true existence that we have, a true deep existence that each one of us has, right? Our soul existence, S-O-U-L, not S-O-L-E. Our soul existence. And that soul existence of us is pure, completely pure, our personal energy, right? And with that we can work in the world, we can live in the world, and we can be totally authentic, totally, completely pure, right? So maybe just take that off of the thing, because it'll be like, lift it off, just put it on the ground, yeah. However, if we get pulled aside by other things, it takes us away from that authentic existence, and we start doing things for the wrong reasons. We start being pulled down different paths for the wrong reasons, right? So that's what we explained before, and that this existence of being able to live in such a way, this engenders peace between us and ourselves, and between us and other people. When two people can talk, and there's no arrogance, there's no anger, there's no falsehood, there's no nothing, we can really have a conversation, right? We can really be authentic. And that allows people to live in peace and people to speak together about amazing things. And we can do amazing things together if we're in that state of existence. So we said, however, in order to do that, we have to have what's called Hadras Panim, or Hapanim, the illuminated countenance of Hashem. Hadras Panim, the majestic countenance of Hashem, right? Which, as we explained, means an emanation of powerful, positive, spiritual energy that comes from the highest levels, right? This is what we want to experience.
Is that what Moshe Rabbeinu had? Like they said, hit lightning came from his face?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Or upon him, yeah. He was like a human representation of total emulation of God. Really amazing, yeah. Absolutely. Moshe Rabbeinu. So we have to have Or upon him. How do we get to that? In order to get Or upon him, we have to, which corresponds to truth, we have to be able to connect ourselves to this aspect of 13, which is the 13 principles of elucidation of the Torah, the Shlosh Esrei Midos she'Torah nidreshes bahen, and also to and that corresponds to the divine beard, if you remember, right? And the divine beard is called, of course, the Tikkun Dikna, Dalet Kuf Nun, which is the Aramaic version of the Hebrew word Zakan. In Aramaic, the Zayin gets switched often for the Dalet. So Zakan is Hebrew for beard, and in Aramaic, it's Dakan, Dalet Kuf Nun, Dakan. So it's connected to that concept also. And so we did start Dalet, but we're going to start, we just said a couple sentences of it. So we're going to start now Dalet. Once again, Torah 27, letter Dalet, number 4, page 148 in the BRI, volume 4. Okay. Ulafi hizdakachus chachmasai b'shleish esrei midos elu, to the extent with which a person can purify their wisdom, their seichel, their chachma, through these 13 principles of Torah that we learn Torah from. Kein hizdakachus kol rinasai. So too will be the purification of his voice, the voice of his song, voice of song. The bechinas zaken. So the word zaken, which means an elder, a wise person, an old wise person, the Gemara in Kedushin says that the word zaken is a compound of two shorter words, of zeh and kana. This one acquires. What did he acquire? We say that imdas kanisa ma chasarta. If you've acquired das, if you've acquired wisdom, what are you lacking? And imdas chasarta ma kanisa. And if you're lacking wisdom, what do you have? Nothing. Right? Wisdom is what we acquire. This is the aspect of kinyan. So zeh kana chachma. And the Gemara says in brachas that and we spoke about this, that the kana is also the name of the trachea, and it's used specifically in reference to being able to use one's voice, the voice box, larynx, right? It's all in that same in that same space. Hakane moitzi kol. The kana, the trachea, the together with the voice box is what brings out our voice. Right? So you'll notice over here that he's going to say it, but we're just talking about the power of our voice and song together. We're not talking about words over here. We're just talking about a person's voice. Right? So let's go a little farther. V'zeh, and this is what the pasuk says in Shir HaShirim. Hareini es ma'arayech. show to me your visage, your countenance. Really, that means your face. The pasuk, it's a twofold pasuk. Let me see your countenance and let me hear your voice. This is Hashem talking to Klal Yisrael. The girls' party downstairs is a little bit wild, but okay. Show me your countenance. So what is that? So this pasuk is referring to these aspects coming together. These aspects of the illuminated countenance, the light of the face, the spiritual energy, together with the concept of the voice that is going to be the thing that begins the tikkun that allows us to have this, right? The beginning of the process at this stage. So the pasuk says, Hareini es marayach, hashmi'ini es koilech. Show me your face, show me your countenance, and let me hear your voice, says Hashem to us, right? Ki hakol lafi hachachma shel drushay Torah. Why? Because the voice is what's going to directly affect, is according to the level of the purity of our wisdom, of our chachma. Meaning, it's the Torah, it's the drushim of the Torah, it's going into the Torah, it's the knowledge of Torah that is going to allow our consciousness to exist in a way that we can channel this or hapanim, this hadras panim, right? And in order to purify our brains, we gotta get rid of the garbage, turn off the garbage, and we have to bring Torah into our brains. That's going to be the thing. It's going to be like an internal mikveh of our consciousness, right? The Torah is going to do this for us. So that's what's going to give us the Hareini es marayach. That's going to give us the Ora Panim. That's going to make our faces glow with purity, with truth, with divine energy, right? Like Moshe Rabbeinu said, Julie, right? In a similar way, but on our own levels, right? But in order to do that, the second part of the pasuk is what leads to that, which is Hashmi'ini es koilech. Let me hear your voice. The voice is what's going to start us off, right? We all know, it's not a stretch. We all know, how many times do we have to say the power and the importance of using our voice? Usually we say it within regards to our words, to our speech, and it's Torah, it's tefillah, right? It's prayers. It's the way we speak to people. That we speak to people in a way to build them and to bring positivity, to bring goodness into the world, as opposed to chas v'shalom, speaking to a person in a way that it tears them down, and that it hurts them, and that it brings them down, right? This is what the lesson is telling us over here. We have to use our words in the right way. That's gonna give us everything. It's gonna lead us to be a spiritual person. Okay. So that's what we need. According to the level of seichel that we develop through the 13 midos, shehu derish behemas Torah, that we go in and we dig deep into the Torah. That's going to fix our brains, our chachma. V'zehu, and this is what the pasuk says in Amos: dirshuni vichyu. So dirshuni means seek me out and you will live. That's what the pasuk means in the simple way. But dirshuni is also the word for darshan, like dig deep into the Torah, and you're going to be enlivened. You're going to have vitality. You're going to have chiyus, life. What does that mean? What gives us life? The pasuk that we've said so very many times from Koheles, ha-chochma techaya es ba'aleha. Chochma is what gives us life. Chochma is what gives us vitality, spiritual energy, right? The Ora Panim. We have to have Torah in us in order to clean things up there and allow this tremendous energy to come, to liven us up, to give us a face of light as opposed to a face of darkness, right? And then we can draw down the real face of light. So that's how this all comes together, for now. So as we move on now to the next section, we're going to continue with this, and it's going to take us into a deeper place. So let's see. Just 1 second, L'chaim. Oh, that's a good tea. Okay. All right. So, how do we do this? What do we have to do? Let me just see where he says over here. Yeah, okay. When a person begins to purify their voice, Oz ayedei hashma'as koiloi levad beloi dibur. Then, by making one's voice heard, just his voice, alone, without words. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moshiach be'ez tzarasei. Hashem will save that person in the time of their pain, the time of their difficulty.
What do you have to do?
Good question.
We all should ask that question very strongly. So let's see. So just the words of Likutei Moharan are that when we purify our voice, then when we use our voice without words, Hashem steps in and saves us in our time of tsar. When we use our voice without our words.
Like singing?
Like singing, yes.
In our voice with
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So first of all, a few things to say. So we could be talking about crying. We could be talking about singing. We could be talking about what Rabbi Nachman has said a number of times, the Yiddish krechts, sighing, right?
what was that?
Sighing, a Yiddish krechts, the Jewish sigh,
Okay.
right? Sighing, but sighing in the right way. Do you remember when we had this before? The Torah about sighing? Because a person can sigh, there's two sighs that a person can do, right? One sigh is the one that we want people to hear. When we're like, and we want people to hear that. Like someone's annoying us, we're like, yeah, you ever hear, people who sigh a lot? They're sighing for other people to hear. But there's a holy type of sighing where we're sighing and we don't want anyone else to hear it, we just want Hashem to hear it. We're sighing to Hashem, right? Sighing to other people is like a type of aggression. Maybe it's Canadian, passive aggression, right? But it's a type of aggression, right? So sighing, crying, singing, right? I don't know what else. Yelling, screaming, right? There's one of the customs that Breslevers have to go out to do his Hisvodedus is to go out into the forest and scream, yell very loudly, right? There's a thing that's brought down in Likutei Moharan about yelling to Hashem with all your power. It's a powerful experience. There's also something that he says called also the silent scream, where you scream internally. But you can do it. If you concentrate, you can do such a thing, and it's also very powerful. But using your voice without words, these are the aspects. So listen to this, listen to these aspects. So according to, you can see this in the notes over here, according to the Tikkun HaBris, we always talk about the words that come out of our mouth being associated with the sphera of, who remembers? Of our mouth? Malchus. Malchus Peh. Malchus Peh. Do you remember this? Why? Because just like Malchus is the place that reveals the will of the king in the kingdom, so too our words are what reveal our will, what's going on inside in the hidden places. Right? So it's Malchus Peh. Malchus works a few ways, but that's one of the ways. So Malchus is the place where our words come out, but using our voice in a way without words is connected to the higher spheres above it, which is called Zer Anpin, which is all those spheres of Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. It's a higher type of existence, voice without words. It's higher, right? Which is very interesting, and this is a something that gets woven through this lesson as we go on. But it's when those two things sort of come together and are used, both are used, when the voice is completely purified, that they have real power and they have real strength.
How do you completely purify the voice?
So let's keep going. We'll see. Let's keep going. We'll see. Right? But so listen to this. So this is pretty wild stuff. So there's some people have a minig. Chabad has such a minig where in certain times, but most of the time really, they sing, especially on Shabbos, they sing songs without words a lot. Right? Yeah. Nigunim. Nigunim without songs. Without words, sorry. Without words. So also, interestingly, here's a good Breslov story. So, we sing by Lecha Doidi here in the shul, we sing Lecha Doidi to Breslov Nigunim, usually. We switch off now and then, but very often we sing Breslov or Nigunim. So one time I was asking, I think I was asking Reb Nosson Maimon, maybe Reb Mata, I don't know. I was asking one of the Breslovers from Eretz Yisrael, what do they do? How do they do it? What exactly in the main Breslov shul in ASHREINU? How do they? What's the Nigunim that they use? Whatever, and in Sfas also. So they said that they first sing the niggin, the Lecha Dodi one, right? And then they pause and they say the line. They say it like to themselves. Then they sing the next part of the niggin, and then they pause and sing, and then they keep going like that, right? Which is a minhag that many people have, especially by Hasidim, that they sing like a stanza worth of music, and then they stop and say the words, and then they sing again a stanza worth of music, once again no words, and then they stop and say it's a common practice, right? I think they even do it at the Bayit over here. So then he told me that he heard in the name of Rav Gedalia Koenig, who was like the founder of the Breslov community in Tzfas, very, very big Talmud Chacham. He founded the whole thing. So his son was the Rav in Tzfas after him, and now that was Rabbi Lazar Koenig, and now the third, his son is now the Rav of Breslov in Tzfas.
Tzfas, that's Tzfat. Yeah?
Tzfat.
Tzfas is in Yiddish.
Tzfas.
It's more Yiddish way.
It's just in Ashkenazi Hebrew. Tzfas, Tzfat, Safed, however you want to pronounce it, right? Yeah. So, any case, so he said, of course, it's very obvious now that the reason why we don't sing it with the words, rather we sing just a nigun, is because a nigun without words goes to a much higher place than just words go. Right? A nigun without words goes to a much higher place than just words can go. So there's something here, right? We're seeing over here the Tikkun HaZohar, that just the power of our voice without words is the higher spheres of Zer Anpin, and the power of our voice with words of dibur, speech, is malchus. It's a lower thing, right? But when they come together and they're both in a state of purity, it's extremely powerful.
Isn't that like meditating?
Could be, but voice. So it could be singing. So this is what the pasuk says. Let's go. Bechinas vayar batzar vayarasem batzar lehem b'shamayas rinasam. So the pasuk says in Shmos, Sefer Shmos, that Hashem saw their affliction when he heard their voice, but it doesn't say when he heard their tefillah. It doesn't say when he heard their supplication. It says when he heard rina sam. Rina is a word for song, the voice of song. Right? He translates it here as when he heard their rina. He doesn't translate it. Al yedei shmias koile. It's through the fact that he heard the sound of their voice. HaKadosh Baruch Hu roya misha meitzar loy. Then he looks and sees what is giving you tsar. He looked and saw what was giving them tsar, what was squeezing them, what was pressing them, what was being meitzar them in that case. Right? So this is talking about Klal Yisrael, of course. It's talking about a big situation. Which one of the nations is oppressing us? Right? But it's when he hears our voice crying out, our voice, Rina. Right? So of course, it's important that we all know that when Rabbi Nachman, all the time, when he talks about galus, for example, exile, he always brings it into and makes sure, Rabbi Nachman makes sure we know that it's also, yes, it's talking about the exile of the Jewish people, but it's also talking about when we are cast into our own personal exile, our own personal galus. When it talks about someone who is a meitzar, who's pressing us and squeezing us and afflicting us, the nation that's doing that, it's also talking about when we are being oppressed and afflicted and abused, what's happening to us as an individual, right? And so sometimes, it's an important thing to know. You gotta daven to Hashem, right? And then Hashem's gonna help us. Just something to think about for a second. Who among us has not been in such a situation where they're so broken and so down? Who's never been in such a situation, right? So in such a situation, sometimes it's very hard to get our voice to go and pray. Sometimes it's really, really hard to stand up and go to shul and to daven and to, right, or to even read things and say tehillim, even to learn. It's very hard, right? So at those times, we still have a tremendous power, and that power is we can use our voice to cry. We can use our voice to yell. We can use our voice to moan, to groan. We can use our voice to sing. Right? We can use our voice for all these things. And that, Rabbi Nachman is telling us, which is so sweet, is a precious, precious connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's something very, very precious to Hashem when we use our voice in this way. So you can be in such a hard place, and all you can do is start to sing a song, start to hum a song, thinking about Hashem, and this is like the sweetest thing in Hashem's eyes that we could do. You can cry a bit to Hashem and just, I don't have any words, Hashem. I can't talk, Hashem. I can't do it. And Hashem, this is like the biggest connection, right? And it goes very well along with much of Rabbi Nachman's Torah, that it's from that low place that we actually connect to the highest aspect of Hashem. The Torah of Aryeh, the famous Torah of Aryeh, specifically and only from such a place, a low place, can we reach something so high. So Rabbi Nachman is telling us here, it's coming so nicely out here, that place where I can't talk anymore, I can't pray with words, but I use my voice, whoa, it's going straight up. It's going right to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then he's going to see who's oppressing me. It's going to see what forces are afflicting me, what forces are coming against me, and he's going to save me in that moment. This is what he says. Whoa. Yeah. So v'zehu, this is like also pasuk that it says in Sefer Devarim, Ba'er Hetev. So it says, or the pasuk says that he should say over the Torah, Ba'er. Hashem's talking to Moshe. He says, Moshe, you should say over the Torah, Ba'er Hetev, with a good, well explained. Ba'er Hetev really means. Ba'er means to explain. Hetev means good. That's the Pashup Shot. Happens to be a name of a famous halachic sefer also, the Ba'er Hetev. Well explained. So the Targum over there explains that, or the Rashi, that it's b'shivim lashon. You have to explain the Torah in 70 languages, meaning so everyone can understand it. So it's there whenever we need it. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu did. Sheperushim udrushe haTorah shemisham toitzayis hakol. It's from the explanations of the Torah, from learning Torah and getting that into our brains, that our voice can come out from. Al yadam heitiv lanu b'chol halashonos b'chol ha'akum. Then Hashem will do good to us wherever we find ourselves amongst the languages of the world and amongst the nations of the world. Bebechinas b'shamai es rinasam. So first of all, the heitev, the good, is the good that's going to come. All of this or hapanim is going to come when we have this concept of ba'er, which means to explain. How does that relate to what we're talking about over here? Ba'er means to explain. It means the idea that when we learn Torah and we get our minds and our souls on a more pure state, now our voices are going to work in a more pure and powerful way, right? So that's Ba'er means the explanations of the Torah. But Rabbi Nachman says over here, B'bechinas b'shamai es rinasam. What did the other pasuk say? When is Hashem going to save us? B'shamai es rinasam. When he hears our song, when he hears the power of our voice, the first letters of those three words make up this word Ba'er hetev. When he hears our voice, where does our voice come from? Getting into and understanding and drawing Torah into us. That Torah is going to give us the ability to have a clear and powerful voice. B'shamai es rinasam rashi tevois Ba'er. Uba'er hu lashon perush udrush. That means explanation and understanding of the Torah. So this is the way it's going. We want to be able to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this way, that he's going to help us. He's going to pull us out from our exile, from our tsar, from our pain, from our oppressors, from our affliction, right? We're doing it right now. We're sitting and we're learning Torah in a deep way. We're allowing it to penetrate our minds, to penetrate our souls, to go deep. And when we do this, it's cleaning us out. It's purifying us. It's helping us. Through this, it's going to affect our voice. It's going to affect our words. It's going to affect our song. It's going to affect our cries. It's going to affect all of these things, right? And through that, we're going to be able to use our voice in a powerful way that Hashem, it wakes up Hashem. It activates Hashem. It pulls on Hashem's heart, if we could say such a thing. And He comes and pulls us out of our tsar. When you have a combination of Torah and music, it can be extremely powerful. Torah and song, very, very, very powerful. I found myself just this last week, don't make fun of me, but I was driving somewhere and I was listening to a song, and it's a deep, deep song, in a Hebrew song. And I'm just, tears started flowing out of my eyes as I'm driving along. It's activating all these thoughts in my mind and about my family and my children and everything in such a deep way. I'm just driving, right? But it's so powerful when you take this type of thing, song, and it's attached to Torah, to real deep, true Torah. It's extremely powerful, and Hashem will help us, Mirz Hashem, with all this. Wow. Okay. So weiter. Yeah, crying is good. In my books, crying is very, very good and very powerful. Okay, let's go. Ois Vav, letter Vav. Letter Vav. Okay, Hadras Panim, Hanal. And according to this Hadras Panim that we were talking about, Hadras Panim means the majesty of the illuminated face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which means drawing down the powerful energies of the highest spheres of Arich Anpin, right? The highest Keser, drawing down that light into our lives to whatever state it ends up being when it comes to us, right? But to draw that down, Efshar Lavoy, we cannot get to it, Ella Ayadei Tikkun HaBris, except through rectification of the covenant, which really means, purity in the realm of sexuality. Purity in the realm of sexuality. And when we don't have this puts us into a crazy place, right? So let's go back to the first shiur last week about this one, where we talked about those things that pull us away from being able to live authentic to our true selves, right? The antithesis to this, really, is something like, for example, adultery, right? Adultery is the worst, and it really, it causes people to lie. It causes people to really lie, and to lie after lie after lie, to try and cover themselves up, right? It causes people to be tremendously hurt in a way that almost nothing else can hurt them, right? It's really, really, really very, very, very negative. And even without that, other aspects of Tikkun HaBris are just, behavior in a way where as a taiva, as a physical desire, we allow such a thing to drive our thoughts and our decisions and everything that we do. It takes us far, far away from our true, authentic selves, right? It's so stupid, like especially for men. I'm not a woman, so I can't say. But you could have a man who's driving down the street and he sees something that catches his eyes, and the whole conversation he's in, the whole day can be changed because of what he sees, right? Those types of thoughts, they can totally, completely derail a person. And you see, almost nobody is immune from this type of test, right? And where do you see it all the time? Amongst the highest, most powerful people, right? Like every one of the politicians gets caught with something. Every one of the high-level people, all of the Hollywood people, all the business people, right? Just think for a second. These are people who are hyper-disciplined, who are so successful. They're smart. They figured out how to do everything in their lives to become ultra, ultra successful. And they do the stupidest things that everybody looks and they're like, what? Why would you make such a stupid mistake? How could you do such a thing? Right? It's because this aspect is it can, in an instant, it can take us from our authentic true self that has a mission that has something that we want to accomplish, that is on a path to do good things, of goodness, tamimus, right? And kedusha. And in a second, it can pull us off. Super dangerous, and for everybody. And it's the opposite of emes, and it blocks all the light. So it's important to note that since we're talking about over here the flow of light, and we especially talked about the non dibur voice, I don't know what's the non-verbal voice, and the voice, which are representative of Zer Anpin and Malchus, when they are together, that causes everything to flow. That's first of all called peace, and that's a relationship of kedusha, and that causes all of the energy to flow downward, right? Zer Anpin and Malchus are like the masculine and feminine force upstairs, and the Yesoid, which is the bottom sphere of Zer Anpin, is like the male, and the Malchus is like the female. And when those things are going together in a state of kedusha and holiness, everything's flowing. The good things are flowing. Life is going good. Blessing is flowing. Everything's flowing. When those things get blocked up, it puts a blockage, right? And so now that Or HaPanim that we wanted is not going to come. This is what Rabbi Nachman is saying over here, I think, my humble opinion. He's telling us, here, we're going to make a channel. It's going to be amazing. You're going to work on your Torah. You're going to work on your emes and your shalom and your voice. It's going to be fantastic. But guess what? You can do all that. You can have all that cooking, and the channel is ready to flow, but it can be totally blocked. It can be totally blocked, right? This is what can block it. So with that in mind, let's go farther. The pasuk says, the pasuk in Divrei Yamim. We say this in davening also. The pasuk is Hoid v'hadar lefanav oiz v'chedva b'mekoymai. So it's like Hoid v'hadar lefanav. Hoid is like splendor, and hadar is majesty. Lefanav, not before him, but to his face. That's hadras panim. That's the splendor, the majestic face of Hashem. When does it work? When does it work well? Kisha oiz v'chedva b'mekoymai. When oiz means power, strength, and chedva means delight, let's say, are in their proper place. What does oiz mean? Shehu bris. This is bris. Hanikra boaz. The concept of bris is called Boaz. Everybody knows the story of in Megillas Rus, which we're going to read in a number of months on Shavuos, right? So Boaz is the one who's going to end up being Rus's husband, right? But before they work all the details out, he has a huge test where he has to hold back, and when he's given the opportunity to be together physically, he holds back and he doesn't do anything, right? This is the same as Yosef HaTzadik. Boaz is called a tzaddik. Yosef HaTzadik, when he was with Eshes Potiphar, Potiphar's wife, and he ran away. He was strong. He had the strength to not give in to that test. He's called a tzaddik. Boaz is called a tzaddik. But this is called, Boaz's name means bo, in him, az, is power, is strength. Boaz, that's what it means, Boaz. So Boaz is the aspect of bris, and it's the aspect of Yesod. And chedva is what's called the chedva de matronisa. It's a Kabbalistic term, which is the delight of the matronisa, means like the queen. It refers to Malchus, the sphere of Malchus. So when you have the strength of Yesod, of Tikkun HaBris, together with the delight of the Malchus, those two things come together and everything's perfect. Right?
Balance.
The spiritual forces are aligning, things are authentic, things are true, things are real, and then everything flows. So this is why you see over here, and it's incredible. This is my favorite part of the Torah so far now, this next line. It's because we say this every day in tefillah, but you'll all recognize it. Pasuk says in Shmos, this is talking about Shiras Hayam, the song at the sea, right? So Pasuk says over there, Ze v'ze azi. the pasuk says, Azi v'zimras ka v'hi li lishua. Right? You know this pasuk? So Azi means ze bechinas bris. Azi means my strength, my oz, like Boaz. Azi, my oz, my strength. That is bechinas bris. That's when we have this concept of Tikkun HaBris. V'zimras. What does zimras mean? Zimras. That's singing, song. The pasuk that we say every day is putting together oz and zimra, the power of Tikkun HaBris and the power of the singing voice. The Torah is putting it together. That's the aspect of kol. Then what happens? What happens when we have oz, when we have this purity of bris, together with the power of the voice? Then what happens? What's the last part of the pasuk? Vayhi li Yeshua. Then he will bring me a Yeshua. He'll bring me a salvation. He'll save me. When I have these things to him. This is what the pasuk says that we say every single day. That we never knew such a deep thing. Oh yeah, that's right. That we never knew such a deep aspect of. Right? Yeah, we say it in the first paragraph of Ki Azi v'zimras ka v'hi li Yeshua. Yeah, we say it in Havdalah. Wow. It's so awesome. So it's fantastic. It's just fantastic. So he says over here, the next part, this is what Chazal say. The Gemara in Sota says, Kisha'alu Yisrael min hayam, when Klal Yisrael got out from the sea, right? They looked, Nasnu einehem lemar shira. They lifted up their eyes to sing shira. They sang the song. Why? Ki alayam nisgala bechinas bris. See if anyone knows this one. Because by the sea, the concept of bris, of Tikkun HaBris, was revealed. Why? Because Kemosha Amru Chazal, like Chazal say, Hayam Ra'a Vayanas. The sea saw and it fled. Vayitze Achutza, and it went out. What did the sea see that made it flee? What?
The Egyptians?
So it's so good, Mamash. It's so good what the sea saw. I always make the joke, the sea saw. What did the sea saw? What did the sea see? That's a good guess also. But no, before that. Why did the sea split?
Because he walked in.
That's also a good one. But there's a famous, amazing medrash that there was one thing that Moshe Rabbeinu had to bring with him before he left Mitzrayim. Anybody remember what it is?
The bones of Yosef.
The bones of Yosef. So when the Medrash says, when the sea saw the casket that had Yosef's bones in it, it fled. It split. It took off. Why the bones of Yosef HaTzadik? Because he is the biggest and strongest example of the power of Tikkun HaBris in all of Judaism. He is the person. He is Yosef. He's the only one who we really consistently call always Yosef HaTzadik. We never say Avram HaTzadik. We never say Moshe HaTzadik even. We don't call anyone Tzaddik except we call Yosef HaTzadik. Right? Why? Because of this power that he had of Tikkun HaBris. This is what the sea saw. So now you look over here, and what happens? They saw the sea saw the Arona Shel Yosef, the bones of Yosef HaTzadik, the power of Tikkun HaBris. It split. They came out, and right away when they came out, Nasnu einehem lemar shira. They sang. It's with these two things together once again. And that, once again, which is behind the scenes over here, between the lines, you have to know a little bit of Kabbalah to see it. Tiny glimpse into some deeper aspects of Rabbi Nachman is once again, it's Zer Anpin and Malchus coming together. It's the non-verbal aspect of it's the Malchus of singing the song. It's the non-verbal part is Zer Anpin, right? And also the power of Yosef is Zer Anpin. It's the same koyach. It's the same power that this accomplishes. Nasnu einehem ze bechinas hadras panim. They lifted up their eyes. That's an aspect of the hadras panim, of the or hapanim, this tremendous light from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bechinas, how do we see? Zaken ze kana chachma. We said once again that zaken is referring to one who acquires wisdom. Right? Zaken, Zakan, that's the wisdom of Torah learning, right? And why is it connected to this concept over here of hadras panim, of the light? Kamosha Perish Rashi, like Rashi says over there, Ze Kana Chachma, what does it mean in Bereshis? What happened over here? Vatipa Kachna Ene Shnehem. Right? What happened to, I think this is talking about Adam and Chava. Yeah, when Adam and Chava, okay, what was their test, right? So they said, don't eat from the tree, because if you eat from the tree, then you will have a certain aspect of knowledge that you're not supposed to have, right? They wanted that knowledge, that wisdom, so they ate from the tree. And what does it say? What does it mean to have chachma? What does it mean to be endowed with this wisdom?
Sexually naked.
But yes, it's a whole nother awesome point. Hang on to that for 1 minute. That's fantastic. But it says, but vatipakachna einehem. Their eyes were opened. This is what the pasuk says over here. They lifted up their eyes, opened their eyes to sing shira. Right? So when all of this is happening, this is exactly what's going on over here. Lomer shira, ze bechinas kol, this is the voice, shenizgala idei chachma. It's through the wisdom of Torah that enables our voice to be able to have its power. Right? And this is what happened over here. And then, Julie just dropped a bomb over here. A serious bomb. Fantastic bomb, right? That the whole thing over there by Adam and Chava, where they went to take this wisdom, right? And their eyes were opened, was right at this place where they messed up in the realm of Tikkun HaBris. And the Medrash says that Chava was physically together with the snake. And right? And then what happened after that? All of a sudden they realized that they were naked, they had something to be embarrassed about. That whole aspect of purity was gone, was lost. Right? And this was their downfall. This was their huge downfall. Which was also Hashem's plan, apparently. But this is what happened, right? This is crazy. This is wild, awesome stuff. V'zeh sha'amru. And this is what it says over here. I don't think I got this far yet. Let's just see what it says over here before we wrap up today. V'zeh sha'amru. This is what the Gemara says in Saita. Oilalim v'yoinkim amru. The babies and the sucklings said, Zeh keli ve'anvehu. This is my God, and I will glorify him. Right? This is an important pasuk. I know, right? Zeh bechinas bris. Zeh is an aspect of bris. How do we see that? Because bechinas zeh lecha ha'ois. Right? So when Hashem tells us the commandment of bris milah, of circumcision, he says zeh lecha ha'ois. This is going to be for you a sign, an ois, a sign. But he calls it zeh. Right? Bris is zeh. So zeh, keli ve'anvehu, zeh is referring to Tikkun HaBris. This is what they said in Shiras Hayom, right at that place where we're combining the power of this purity together with the power of the voice. Zeh, that's the first thing. And sorry, the power of this type of purity together with the light of the face of Hashem, right? The Ora Panim. Ve'anvehu, zeh bechinas hadras panim. Ve'anvehu means I will glorify him. I will glorify him. And the hadras panim is the glorified, majestic face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? So it's, in other words, that means that it's through attaching ourselves to this concept of zeh, to bris, to purity, that to wisdom, to Torah, to voice, all these things are going to allow me to cause this light of Hashem's face to come down. In other words, I want light from the Ribono Shel Olam. I want simcha. I want radiance. I want inspiration. I want chiyus. I want chizik. I want to feel all of these things, right? And through going through all these processes, that's what we're going to draw down, right? And if we don't, we're gonna be struggling, right? We want to attach ourselves to this. We want to get it. We want to receive it. We want to connect to it, and this is the way to do it. I think we're gonna hold it there right now, just because I'm not totally prepared to go farther. And there's a lot of noise in my basement with the young girls having a party, and it's hard for me to concentrate. So we'll hold it here, and we'll continue next week. This lesson, by the way, should take us maybe another two or three lessons before we move on to our next to the new way of trying to do things. So, anybody have anything to add or to say or to what? Yeah, who's that? 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
You said that Moshe had to explain everything in 70 languages, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just the Jews and the Mitzrayim that escaped, that went with the Jews, the Khartoumim. Why would he have? Who understood 70 languages there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it has to do with the idea. I don't know the simple understanding, but on a deeper level, it means that there's 70 languages, 70 nations with 70 languages in the world, and wherever we find ourselves, the Torah needs to be explained to us. We need to understand the Torah in a way that whatever it's saying that whoever you are, it's the job of the tzaddik. It's the job of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's the job of the Talmud Chacham to explain the Torah to the people he's with in a way that they understand it. We had this. I think we had this. Was it in this? I think we had this over here.
There's like a saying, Shivim Panim LaTorah.
Shivim Panim LaTorah. Exactly. Yeah. That's it's a similar aspect. There's always 70s connected to the Torah. Shivim Panim LaTorah also means, but just by Jews, that there's 70 different ways, different perspectives, different ways of seeing it. And it's not only 70 either, right? But very often, especially in the Torah of Rabbi Nachman, you have this awesome way where the 70 faces of Torah are the power that goes against the 70 forces of negativity of the other nations of the world. Right? The illuminating force of the Torah is 70, like the 70 faces of Torah, corresponding to the 70 ways that we could be pulled down. So we want that power, the good power of the 70 aspects of light, right, to be able to shine into those 70 places. So I think, is that Alyssa? I think so. Yeah, that we should have that. What we want is that the power of the 70 aspects of Torah should be able to shine a light even in those 70 dark places of the rest of the 70 languages of the world. It's not a simple Pashat Pshat answer, but that's I think on a deeper level what it means. Anybody else?
Is there a way that everyone understands even if you don't speak the same language?
The Torah? I mean, the Torah. We have Baruch Hashem. There's you know what? I'll use this as a way to just give over a Hashgacha Pratis story. Something amazing that happened. Wild, crazy thing that just happened to me tonight. It's totally insane. But there's rabbis all over the world that speak different languages, right? You got some rabbis in India. You have even rabbis in China. You have rabbis. I don't know why I said even. But you have rabbis all over South America, right? In all kinds of different places. France, even. Just kidding. Everywhere you go, all different languages. You have people learning Torah. This is a segue into a Hashgacha Pratis story. So listen to this. So someone comes to me literally 2 days ago, and I sit with this person for an hour. Because this person wants to marry a young man from Cuba. And Jewish guy from Cuba. But, as many people know, the Jewish people in Cuba are not in the best situation. And they don't have very good resources over there. And also, it's not so clear what their yichus is, whether they're Jewish or not. So there's a fantastic organization, a certain person from a rabbi in Thornhill actually takes care of a whole Chabad community in Cuba and raises money for them and everything. But before that, there was like nothing there, right? So it's not so clear who's Jewish, who's not Jewish, and a lot of them are like sort of like the Anusim, the
23andMe now.
Crypto. What?
You could do like a 23andMe now
Right,
test.
but it's not halachically valid.
No.
No.
What test?
It's like a
So-
genetic testing to tell you.
So anyway, so this person wants to marry a young man from Cuba, so this young man from Cuba seems to be a wonderful, sincere boy, a good person, and he's very into Judaism, and he even did a conversion just to be sure, right? But the conversion was done. The paper that I got about it was done. It was checked out. It's not accepted by any. It's not accepted by Israel. It's not accepted by rabbinic courts because it's not a good it's not accepted person who did it. It wasn't done in the right way, whatever, right? So this person is like, what do I do? You know, what's this poor guy going to do? And he's trying to find, maybe he can go somewhere else to do it. But if he goes over here, it's going to take so long. It's going to, so I'm not kidding. This is such a thing has never been discussed with me ever. Cuban Jew conversion issue with the name of this rabbi who made this conversion. I've never heard of it before. It's never come across my plate before, ever. Right? So tonight, literally 2 hours ago, a guy walks into my door asking for a donation. He sits down and starts telling me his story. And you know what his story is? That he married a girl who is a Cuban convert. And he met her in Miami. And she did a conversion and it wasn't accepted. And people were like saying bad things, whatever. But they found this really awesome rabbi who specializes in this type of thing. And they redid her conversion, and he is the type of rabbi that stands up for people in such a situation, and he'll go and he'll teach them and he'll give them a conversion, and this is what he did, and this rabbi saved me and my Cuban wife who converted, and he tells me the paper of the conversion that was done first that wasn't good is the same one that this person said to me the day before. This is the person that is going to be the salvation for this other person. I've never thought in my life about Cuban conversions. And in 2 days, these things just come. The problem comes, this guy was already on his way here. He was probably already in Toronto, right? Hashem sends the refuah before the makkah. He sends the medicine before the wound comes. And boom, this is what happened. What a crazy story. Can you believe it?
Insane,
Believe this guy walks into my house tonight.
They're destined to marry.
It's insane. Total insanity. Anyway, great. That was my story for tonight. Everybody have a fantastic week. Shalom. And Imrit Hashem, we'll be with you guys Monday and Wednesday of the coming week, and we'll keep going. Great to see you all. Let's keep learning this Torah and keep having it enter into our minds and into our souls and cleaning us up, making us into spiritual beings that can receive all this beautiful light from the Ribbon Hashem. Imrit Hashem. Atzlacha.